So this is where the gate is, right here.
Mm-hmm.
And then the white is the private property. And they're claiming that the county road went all the way up to there, right?
Yeah. Now, their argument was that it started at the Alta post office, which they assumed that the Alta post office was at the intersection of Hughes Creek and Westport.
Okay.
Now, one time it was there, but not in 1900. In 1899, we believe through 1900, the post office was right here downstream, about a mile, maybe a little further from Hughes Creek, from the mouth of Hughes Creek.
So this is where the Bugley family found evidence that this was the post office at the time. The county claims that the post office was about a mile or so further down the road, closer to the cabin, which would put their 11.8 miles further up the family's road, the private property. But the evidence that we've seen says it was right here. At that time.
Now, their argument was that it started at the Alta post office, which they assumed that the Alta post office was at the intersection of Hughes Creek and Westport.
Okay.
Now, one time it was there, but not in 1900. In 1899, we believe through 1900, the post office was right here downstream, about a mile, maybe a little further from Hughes Creek, from the mouth of Hughes Creek.
And how is that significant?
That changes the distance that they're arguing about by at least a mile and a half. So it's not like the government came in and built a post office there. It was usually run out of somebody's cabin who wanted to be the postmaster, you know. So what they were saying is, because they said that road goes about 12 miles from the Alta post office to the Woods Placer, which is Woods Placer starts right there, about 12 miles. They're claiming, well, on today's modern road, assuming that the Alta post office was here, we'll drive on this new road and go all the way up here as far as we can. By God, we end up right here. Oh, well, I'll be darned.
How many miles into your private property?
About 3 miles. A little less than 3 miles
Okay, from the gate?
from the gate.
And that road that road doesn't continue
No,
up past.
that road
Stops
pretty
at the
much
bus.
stops right there where you got the arrow says bus. An old boy that owns the ground there has an old school bus parked there.
Okay.
You'll get to see it.
So,
your land, your private property is the white,
yep,
and it's all landlocked by
we're surrounded by Forest Service.
National
surrounded.
Forest.
Yep.
Okay.
And you're saying at one time they were saying that this road serviced the trailhead,
Yeah.
but that doesn't work because it's in private property. So now they've changed their tune.
They've changed their tune on.
So the county is saying, sorry. So the county's saying that their road ends here.
Yeah.
You're saying it ends.
Well, we say it ends at the gate.
Yeah. Where's
You
that
know,
gate? Right
How
there.
long's
That
gate
arrow.
been there?
40
Or how-
years.
40 years, okay.
They put it in the 70s.
But how long has it been since the county has claimed like maintenance and all of that on the road?
They've never.
Never.
I've
Never.
never seen. Well, here's the deal. This road that we're driving on today, that they're showing on this map, was built in the 50s. Oh, it's not even the same road or the same path. Now I can show you parts of an old wagon trail in different spots in that country, but in all of our deeds and patents and survey notes, they reference it as a wagon trail. They don't reference it as a county easement.
A couple other key
Who
words.
built the road?
Well, the miners, the property owners built this road from here to here. The original road that we believe was built was done by the citizens as well, and then adopted as a county road in 1900. And they just said about 12 miles to the Woods Placer. Not through the Woods Placer, to the woods. Woods Placer owned mining claims from here all the way up to the end. So,
And that's pretty plain English. Two.
So the chances of it from this post office, which is a mile further than it shows in the later records, and then with everything winding around, there's a good chance that right there is about 12 miles, right at your gate, which makes sense because the gate's
Or within a
there,
reasonable area
and
of
the
that.
property begins there,
Right.
And
Was
your
established.
claim starts, your patent claims all start there.
exactly.
That's huge. The patent claim starting there is a more valid argument, a sustainable argument to all of this than anything that I've seen so far.
Right. Exactly. So,
Just as an
It's-
indicator of where it starts. I mean, why wouldn't the county use that as an indicator of where, unless
'Cause
they
they-
had other ulterior
yeah,
motives
they
to.
didn't want that. They didn't
Yeah.
want to use that language. Didn't fit their agenda. But this information here was locked away in an attic because they had a bat quarantine. This came out of Placer Book Number 2, which was held upstairs above the courthouse. And for like 6-7 months, maybe almost a year, while this was all going on, and during the meeting where they concluded the county road goes past the gate, all this evidence was locked up. Nobody had access to it.
What year was that?
What was that, 2017? Winter of 2017? I'll have to
Close
double
to
check
3
that.
years.
Sure.
17 or 16.
And I was just wondering if we were talking back in the 90s or
No,
now.
this was just recently.
Yeah, okay.
So anyhow, we had the lawyer write him a letter and says you can't withhold public evidence, public records.
Because they wouldn't let you have it.
We wouldn't let us in there. They had to have a special meeting to see if they could let people get access to the records. So they did. So we dug up some old mining filings for mining claims. And these old boys here filed on Mill Gulch, which is right there. Now, there's 3 mining claims filed here, I think maybe by 2 different people. And they said that this location is on Hughes Creek, about 8 miles from the mouth and about a half a mile south of the sawmill. I'm not really sure where the sawmill was. So they're referencing this about 8 miles. Now on today's Forest Service road, it's at mile marker 6 and some change.
Okay.
So we've got 2 miles of discrepancy from here to here based on their language and the description of these mining claims. So now you take this and you add it with the post office being a mile down the road or a mile and a half, you're 3.5 miles of discrepancy in our favor.
Now we just drove about a mile and a half, turned on Hughes Creek Road and started heading up Hughes Creek Road. And we come to the historic Alta Ranger Station. Now, public record shows that the post office was somewhere right in this little facility here, and next to the post office, or next to the ranger station, sorry. And it was. But at the time of the road being established and the documentation that the county was going off at the time of the decision, it wasn't here. It was about a mile and a half back down that road on that homestead. who was where the postmaster was living, and they have evidence of that, but they're not being allowed to show it. So look at that, that's pretty. But the fact of the matter is that the post office was here at one point, but when the old mining claim documentation was given, which is what they're basing the road off of, 11.8 miles, I believe, about 11.8 miles from the post office is what the document says. And now the county is going off of that the post office was here, and it was here. But if you cross-reference the dates and look where the post office was at the time, is not. It's about 1.5 miles back that way. So that's our first 1.5 miles discrepancy. And there's about 2 more miles worth of discrepancy that we can show evidence for. And so he just needs a new county commissioner meeting. He just needs a new county commissioner hearing. They need to look at the evidence, and they need to put the matter to rest for the family. Let them get back to enjoying their private property. Anybody else who wants to come out and enjoy the public land around that private property can. They just need to stop where the private property begins, where the gate is and has been, and then they can get their bags out and go hike. That's what the Forest Service tells us all the time when they close roads, that there's still access. You just need to hike, enjoy your public lands, right? Now, what are these folks' names? These are the Cox?
Wade Cox.
Wade Cox. This is the Cox residence. Charlton and Wade Cox. This is the Cox residence here. This is a started and still is a patent mining claim. And what that means is that they're grandfathered in, and it's an agreement between them, the patent holder, and the federal government that as long as they continue to work and improve this land, it's theirs. And they've done that long enough to hold the patent for however long they have. The unique part about this scenario is it's also private property, which means that they went ahead and at some point bought the land around too. So it's not just a patent claim, as I understand it. They actually own this little valley here between that mountain and that mountain. Not very big. And there's one property owner just down the drainage, and that's the first property owner at the gate. And these are the second property owners. And these are all patent mining claims is how they started. So there's individual patent holders here as you work up your way to the Bugley claim and property. But so this situation is unique in the fact that you have numerous families that all are standing on principle and in the defense of our property rights. Oh, look, a little chicken running across the road with little chicks. That's cute. Very Americana. A lot of heritage right here. And obviously, anybody that's going to come up here and live this lifestyle and mine is a rugged individualist, and they might even be a leave me the fuck alonist. And they're up here and they're minding their own business, but in comes the encroaching Forest Service, aiding and abetting by the county, aided and abetted by the county, in the regulatory taking of private property. Is what they're doing, is what they're trying to do. So we're going to keep working our way up the mountain here, up this drainage, and meeting the families and showing you this little piece of the American dream that they have, that they're living, until government comes and decides to be terrorists and terrorize them. Now they live every day wondering when the other shoe's going to drop, when government's going to come force their way through, what happens in the middle of the night, on their own, out here. And that's where we have an issue. We don't believe our neighbors should have to stand alone, especially when they're standing in principle for our property rights.